us. Wow. We had a serious crit there. Bam! Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. You are looking at the Tupolev Tu-1 Soviet Tier 7 Heavy Fighter. You get this through the Tu-1 operation, and it is a beauty, isn't it? Look at that paint scheme. This is the paint scheme that it comes with once you get it. Very sharp. I actually play with the theater specific paint scheme, so once we get into get into combat, I will switch this to the summer paint scheme, but I wanted you to see this red camo here, this red paint scheme, because it is just really sharp. Really like that. So the Tu-1 Heavy Fighter is said to have accurate long-range caliber armament. Specifically, it's got two 45mm cannons. Bam! Do 120 damage per second with a rate of fire of 30 rounds per minute, an effective firing range of 1,050 meters. That is big time, folks. Big time range of fire. You can really reach out and touch someone with those. We've got two 23mm cannons that do 125 damage per second with a rate of fire of 420 rounds per minute and an effective firing range of 740 meters. Not the 1,000 plus range of fire of the 45mm, but still very respectable. It has two defensive turrets, a 12.7mm machine gun that does 72 damage per second with an effective firing range of 700 meters, field of fire of 50 degrees, gun elevation 50 degrees, gun depression of only -5 degrees. The bottom turret, though, takes care of that with damage per second of 72, effective firing range of 700 meters, field of fire 30, gun elevation -5 degrees, gun depression -50 degrees. This aircraft is said to have high airspeed and a long-lasting boost. Ineffective in maneuvering combat. I've designed this aircraft with a zoom and boom strategy and build. Go over that in a moment. Very effective in intercepting aircraft at high altitude, so it's a high altitude aircraft. Equipped with several defensive turrets as we've discussed. Stat-wise, its maximum optimal altitude is 2,000 meters, which is low high altitude, I would say. Its service ceiling is 4,000 meters. Rate of climb is 88 meters per second. Not a good maneuvering aircraft. 15.5 seconds to turn 360 degrees. 61 degree rate of roll. Maximum optimal speed is 660 kilometers per hour. Stall speed is 180 kilometers per hour. Not too bad for such a large aircraft. Airspeed, its cruising speed is 658 kilometers per hour, 640 kilometers per hour with the boost. Boost duration 45 seconds. That is really super nice, folks. A maximum dive speed 800 kilometers per hour. Wow, 45 second boost duration. Very nice, right? Cumulative damage for forward firing offensive armament, 515 damage. Optimal distance is 1,050 meters that we get with the 45mm cannons. I'm bringing this aircraft to you at specialist level. So we've got all the options to show you here. For the cockpit, went with Advanced Collimator Sight, which does 11% increase accuracy of forward firing offensive armament, plus 10% chance of causing fire, plus 5% accuracy when firing at moving targets, which is nice. The negative is the minus 7% pilot's resistance to injuries. Bonus characteristics, plus 10% chance of causing fire, plus 5% accuracy when firing at moving targets. The other option would be cockpit armor, where we would increase our crew's resistance to injuries, but at the cost of aircraft maneuverability. And, you know, while you could go with that, since aircraft maneuverability is not that big of a deal with this heavy fighter, I just don't want to make the abysmal maneuverability any worse, and we could use the increased accuracy that the sight offers. To help address our increased chance of injury to our crew members, I have equipped Emergency Medical Kit, which restores injured crew members and provides resistance to injury for 10 seconds. There is no airframe equipment. For the engine, I went with Advanced Lightweight Power Unit, which increases maneuverability in turns by 2.2%. Bonus characteristics of plus 1% acceleration without boost, plus 1% cruise speed, so that's nice there on our zoom and boom build to have those bonuses. We do have minus 9% engine's resistance to critical damage as the negative for that piece of equipment, but I have chosen as a consumable emergency engine restart system, so if our engine does get damaged, we can get it back up to operational efficiency. Your other options would have been engine armor protection, which would have increased engine's resistance to damage, but we would have lost speed. Since this is a zoom and boom build, I did not want to lose aircraft speed. Combined injection boost system, which would have made our boost more efficient, but at the cost of availability, and you know, I want it as available as possible. Or uprated engine, which would have increased engine thrust, but at the cost of greater chance of fire. You would certainly be perfectly fine with uprated engine. You could certainly even make the argument that it would be better for this zoom and boom build. I just went with the lightweight power unit just to add some increased maneuverability to this build. For a forward firing weapon, I went with advanced reinforced bolt carriers, which increases burst length by 15.7%. That's really nice because, you know, those cannons can overheat, so that helps to delay that. Bonus characteristics: a plus 3% rate of fire of forward firing offensive armament, plus 2% rate of fire of forward firing offensive armament. The negative would be minus 10% accuracy. So that, you know, is certainly a negative, but I find having the extra burst length to outweigh that negative. Your other options would have been long gun barrels, which would have increased our range of fire, but we would have lost burst length. These cannons already have a very long range of fire, so I don't think we need to sacrifice burst length to increase the range of fire. Finally, gas-operated action, which would have increased rate of fire, but we would have lost accuracy. I just think burst length is more important than the rate of fire. For the turret, I went with improved turret gun sight, which increases by 13% firing range of a defensive turret when controlled manually. Plus 5% chance of inflicting critical damage with a defensive turret. That's really nice. The negative is minus 7% gunner's resistance to injuries, but again, we did equip that emergency medical kit to address that. Your other options would have been turret gun laying drive, which would have increased aiming speed in automatic mode, but at the cost of maneuverability. This aircraft's maneuverability already stinks, so I didn't want to make it worse. A turret armor protection, which would have increased gunner's resistance to injuries, but at the cost of aircraft speed. Again, I just don't want to lose speed in this zoom and boom build. Consumables we haven't talked about. Secondary control system, which restores controllability of wings and tail. The one thing missing with this aircraft is the ability to also slot emergency engine cooling, which is always nice for a heavy fighter, but we do have a 45-second engine boost, so there is that. And I think having the emergency engine restart is more important. When you have to choose between these two, emergency engine restart system versus emergency engine cooling, I would suggest always going with emergency engine restart, because you get your engine knocked out, you're in serious trouble. For ammunition, for the forward firing weapons, I went with fragmentation ammunition, which is said to cause maximum chance of inflicting critical damage, and is recommended for autocannons. I have a bunch of those in the depot, so that's why I went with them. You could certainly go with the universal ammunition, would be just fine. For the turret, I went with special ammunition for the turret gun, which has maximum chance of the gunner inflicting critical damage. For pilot skills, I went with Marksman 1 and Marksman 2. Collectively, those decrease dispersion of forward firing weapons by 10%. And in the case of Marksman 2, it also increases accuracy of firing at actively maneuvering targets by 10%, which is really nice to have. You certainly could have also gone with Engine Guru 1 and Engine Guru 2 to increase our engine performance, but it's already a fast aircraft, and when you're zooming in, you may not have that long on the target. You really want to make those shots count, and so that's why I went with the increased accuracy skills. But you could certainly make an argument for the engine skills. To increase the effects of our equipment on maneuverability and speed, I went with Aerodynamics Expert, which increases those effects by 40%. And finally, with the last 2 points, I went with Aerobatics Expert, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 2%. Now, you could certainly make the argument here that I should have used those 2 skill points with Engine Guru 1, but here's the thing. At some point, you need to turn this aircraft around. Whether you're zooming in and zooming out to get away, somebody's chasing you and you want to, get away from them, at some point you need to turn that aircraft around, and having some increased maneuverability to get it turned around and facing back at whatever that threat is so you can put rounds on that target, I think is useful. Because, I for one don't like running a whole match. It just, it's not fun. So I want to have the maneuverability that enables me to turn around fast enough to face that target. So I get as far out as I can, and then I turn around as fast as I can. The slower I am able to turn around, the further out away from my pursuer that I need to get. So that is why I do have maneuverability skills on a zoom and boom build. Some of you may disagree with that, and I understand that, but that's what I choose to do. Paint scheme. So again, this is the beautiful red paint scheme that it comes with, but I will switch that back to our concealing summer, which gives us plus 20% concealment, plus 10% tolerance to damage from AA guns, and plus 5% tolerance to damage from gunners. That is really nice to have, more important than the fancy red paint scheme, but I really like the fancy red paint schemes, don't get me wrong. This is winter, desert, and marine. I'm usually not a big fan of the Russian paint schemes, but I do really like the paint schemes that come with this aircraft. Alright, so that is my build for the Tu-1. Let's head into a battle and see how it performs. So we'll be bringing the pain in the Tu-1 over the road to Rome Trap Theater of Operation. We'll head first to the command center, and then from there on to the mining plant, where no doubt we will be dealing with some enemy ground attack aircraft. Usually start out over here at the garrison and then work their way over towards the mining plant right through this little valley here. Of course, our team tends to do the same thing.
Area of combat operations. Be ready. Pilots, get ready for
Off
action.
we go.
Let's go.
Should be seeing some heavy fighters here soon. Thought we'd be seeing some heavy fighters, but I don't see any heavy fighters. That's a good setup for us. Come on.
Bomber squadron detected. Engage them immediately.
Alright, I don't want to sit here and go round and round with this guy. A heavy fighter. It's like a job made for us. Wow. We had a serious crit there. Alright, as I mentioned, we've got working on this plant, a bomber up there. Let's see what else is going on. So it's just a bomber right now. Question is, where did that bomber go? There he is. Back around. Wow. It really ate into that bomber, didn't it? Bam! P-39N up here. Man. Some serious firepower. Wow. Alright, another bomber. Tell you what, this aircraft would really benefit from is an engine cooling consumable, and it has one, but you'd have to give up the engine restart skill, and I don't want to do that. Engine goes out, you really want to get it restored. Look how it is eating into that highly survivable aircraft. I mean, just eating it alive. Alright, so I'm guessing we're going to have some more enemy aircraft coming in towards this plant. They'll probably try again, but I don't see any. Oh. Bomber up here. Goodbye, Mr. Bomber. Watch out for me. Wow. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. And have a ground attack aircraft coming in. Sitting up. This is pretty for us.
care of something. Okay, so we got a multi-roll coming in here. Maybe we can outrun it. We're out of boost, though. So let's turn around and see if we can put a dent in it. I'm here. Corsair. Love the Corsair. Beautiful aircraft. Historically, I'm told, whoa, one of the harder aircraft to fly. You really had to know what you were doing with it. Yeah. Well, we kind of got messed up there when it switched to my rear gunner accidentally. Okay. So, but team is doing pretty well here. The heavy fighter working on our command center, so we'll go take care of that problem. Kai-94I.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. Support will be unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over. Way to go! Victory is close.
Would really help if I did.
The command centers are under our control. Communication with the headquarters established.
What I like about this aircraft is when it really connects, it just is devastating.
That's it. There's no way to break through you now. You're on your own.
Alright, let's deal with these bombers. Getting distracted. Slow down here so we don't outrun them. Let our guns cool down a little bit.
Great job. No enemy bombers have broken through.
Alright,
I'm proud of
excellent.
you,
So,
pilots. Head back home.
Flying Shield badge, Hero of the Sky badge, Flying Paladin badge, Wing Legend, #1 spot on the team, 4 chevrons on the grade rank, Subjugator, Effective Fire, Flying Start, and Expert Pilot. So we'll head back now to the hangar and check out the after action report. So 185,997 in currency, 3,778 in experience points, 188 in free experience points, and 2 tokens. Always good to see those. And I noticed we did rank out completely on the grade rank when we were at the end screen at the close of the battle. It only showed 4 grade ranks, but we did. Sometimes that's not always accurate, so you have to look at the after action report, and we did rank out, which I guess I should have realized given that we got the Hero of the Sky badge. 16 kills, 2 assists, 2 sectors captured. So very good there. We did all that in 7 minutes, 55 seconds of battle duration. 15,120 in personal points. That is the Tu-1, the Tupolev Tu-1 Tier 7 Heavy Soviet Fighter. I put it back here on the nice red paint scheme that it comes with, so you can get another look at that. Isn't that sharp? Wow, that is really nice. It's too bad it doesn't come with all the bonuses that the other paint schemes do, the theater-specific paint schemes. They really need to change that. When you use the special paint scheme like this, it ought to have all the bonuses. But that is just really nice looking. Let you enjoy that there. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you get an opportunity to get the Tu-1 and get it up to specialist level even, I hope you have great success in it.